Well, Marvel fans, we just got the official trailer for Avengers Doomsday, so in this video I will be breaking it down for you guys scene by scene, giving you my reaction to the overall trailer and some of the things that go down. So with that, let's get into my reaction and the trailer breakdown. So to just quickly give you guys my reaction, I thought it was a great trailer. It definitely got me really excited for what this movie has in store. The characters that we will get to see, the interactions between all these different superheroes, and of course the teased fight between Thor and Dr. Doom. It was all so awesome and it got me really excited for this movie. But with that, let's now get into the full breakdown. So now kicking things off, we start the trailer at the Xavier's School for the Gifted, or in other words, the X-Mansion, but it is almost completely destroyed. We then see Patrick Stewart as Professor X looking out the window at a possible intrusion, but as all that plays out, we can hear in the background the voice of Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom, who we then see in a superhero pose slowly getting up, and with seeing him now for one of the first times, he looks awesome. And doing the superhero pose, getting up real slowly as well, that is all so menacing. But from there, we then transition to a shot of Avengers Tower where it looks like we are getting a continuation of the scene we got from the post-credits of the Thunderbolts, where the Avengers are seeing the Fantastic Four ship arrive. And on that ship, we see the entire Fantastic Four group with Thor, and we could also assume that Steve Rogers' Captain America is on there as well, because we see him with these characters at the end of the trailer. But while they were getting to the tower, Bucky has seemed to call in Ant-Man and Sam Wilson's Captain America for help. And this scene, let me tell you guys, gets me really excited because it is going to be so cool to get to see these characters interact with each other. So getting back to the trailer, we then see a wide shot of the room these characters are in, and that lets us see more characters, but it is in this wide shot that we then see a monitor in the background where the Fantastic Four are standing. Now this could be just the Fantastic Four explaining the trouble that their worlds are in, and it looks like we are seeing a beginning stage of an incursion. We even see a countdown in the bottom left corner. But now getting back to the center of the screen, we see what looks to be 3 Earths, or 3 different universes, about to collide. And that is probably what we saw with Professor X in that scene at the beginning of the trailer, worlds colliding. But now moving on, we then get a shot with Namor face to face with Shuri, our new Black Panther, probably asking for his help, telling him that there is a bigger battle about to happen, but we will probably still see a fight between Namor and the Wakandans, because they were all in fighting position. But really quickly, before I move on to the next scene of the trailer, I just wanted to touch upon the fact that Namor is wearing an outfit that looks basically exactly like his outfit in the comics, which I think is really cool. So now moving on to the next shot in the trailer, we see Thor jumping towards Dr. Doom in the rubble of the X-Mansion. I know this is the X-Mansion because there are Sentinels that have been destroyed that are in the background. Probably they were destroyed by Cyclops, who we saw in the trailer blasting his beam at full power, and that is definitely enough to take down a Sentinel. But after this shot, we get a little peek at the fight that will be going down between Thor and Dr. Doom, where Doom stops Thor's hammer with only 2 fingers. And that just goes to show how powerful Dr. Doom is, because in Avengers Infinity War, Thanos couldn't stop Thor's hammer, and Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet could not stop Thor's hammer as well. So that clearly shows how powerful Dr. Doom is. But now moving on, in the next shot, we see the X-Mansion explode. And that is probably before we get the fight scene between Dr. Doom and Thor, because they are fighting in the rubble of the X-Mansion. But now moving on, we see a shot of Cyclops, and before I move on to the next scene after this, I just want to point out how cool his suit looks in this scene. We are finally getting to see Cyclops in his comic book accurate suit, and it just looks absolutely amazing. So now moving on, the next shot we get is Shang-Chi throwing down with Gambit. Now I am truly very excited for this fight. I'm a big fan of Channing Tatum as Gambit. I loved what his character did in Deadpool and Wolverine, and I'm a huge fan of the Shang-Chi movie, and I'm really a big fan of his character as well. I truly am very excited to see these two fight, and to just overall see what Shang-Chi does in this movie. But getting back to this little fight scene, I'm really surprised, because I didn't think that Gambit could really hold his own against somebody as high level of a fighter as Shang-Chi. But no, he's actually holding his own in this fight. Now granted, Gambit has the explosive cards, and he has his bow staff, but somebody Shang-Chi's level should just be able to get past that. But no, this seems like it's going to be a close fight, but still it's going to be a great fight, and I'm truly excited to see this fight and to see who wins. So now moving on to the next shot in the trailer, we get to see Tom Hiddleston's Loki, who I'm very happy to see because I like his character. I like the 2 seasons of Loki that we got, and I'm just so glad they're including him in this movie. But it is here we see Loki simply just holding his TVA badge. But this quick little shot definitely makes me wonder what Loki's role will be in this movie, because where we left Loki off in the season 2 finale of his show, he was stuck in a tree. I don't know if this is going to be a different version of Loki, or if it's that same version of Loki that we saw in the season 2 finale. I want to know how he got out of that. I'm very curious, but nonetheless, I'm still very, very happy to see Loki back, and I'm really excited to see his role within this movie. So now moving on to the next shot in the trailer, we see the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four meeting with the Wakandans, but now we have another character to add on to all this. Sam Wilson's buddy, who is the new Falcon, Torres, who obviously in Captain America Brave New World took over as the new Falcon. But this shot was really cool to see, and I'm excited to see the interactions that go on between all these characters. And that's just a big thing in this movie. I'm really excited to see all these characters who've never met meet each other for the first time, and with all their personalities mixing, it's going to be very, very entertaining to see the goofy side of them, the serious side of them, and how those characteristics mix with each other. So now moving on, the next shot we get is Yelena walking towards what I assume to be Mystique, who caught one of her billy clubs and then transforms into her, which I think is a cool scene. But honestly, before I say anything else about this scene, I just want to point out how weird Mystique looks in this clip, because honestly, I'm used to like those early 2000s X-Men version of Mystique, and seeing this version of her, it looks a little weird. You know, of course we had those later X-Men movies in like 2017 that also made her look a little weird, but this is definitely the weirdest Mystique has ever looked. But it's still going to be cool to see her character. We haven't seen her in a little while. The last time we saw her, she died because she was impaled by Jean Grey. But it's going to be great to see her in this movie, and I can't wait to see the fight scene that's going to happen with her and Yelena that was teased within this trailer. But now moving on, while she was walking towards Mystique, while Yelena was walking towards her, in the background you could see Reed Richards stretching out his arm, using his powers to hold back Sam Wilson's Captain America, which isn't really too important, I don't think, but I just wanted to point it out because we get to see Reed use his powers. But who knows, maybe Captain America will get past Reed's arm and start to fight Mystique as well. But that will be interesting, because I kind of have a prediction if that happens. What I predict is maybe in the middle of that fight, Mystique changes into a lookalike of Yelena, and now Sam Wilson's Captain America has no idea who's the real one and who's the fake one. And that will make for a really cool fight scene, I think. So then after this shot, we do get to see a quick shot of Mystique as Yelena fight the real Yelena, which I'm really excited to see this fight scene, obviously. But my prediction is probably Mystique is going to get the ever-living crap beat out of her, because Yelena is basically exactly like Black Widow. She has very similar fighting skills, but it's still going to be a fun fight to see nonetheless. So now moving on, the next shot we get to see is Charles Xavier seemingly comforting Magneto. They both seem to be sad, they both seem to be stressed, but this scene specifically with Magneto makes me wonder what is his role gonna be in this movie, because he seems like a beaten down, really old and just weak old man, you know? And Magneto, he has the power to control all metal. He is one of the biggest dangers to Wolverine, who's a very powerful X-Man. But I'm just really intrigued by what his role can be in this movie, because he could be a great character or he could be a useless character. I hope they use him correctly. Same with Professor X. Now, Professor X, he's a little different. He has the ability to do stuff in his mind, so he doesn't really need to physically be there. But Magneto, he needs to actually be there, actually be in the action to be useful. But yeah, I'm excited to see what these characters can do, and I just hope that they are handled correctly, because this is probably one of the last times we'll get to see both of these characters, and I hope that they could go out in a satisfying way, whether they die or whether they live. If they live, I hope they get a satisfying ending, but if they die, I hope that their deaths are done correctly and aren't stupid. But yeah, this was still nonetheless a great scene, because I really love the characters of Magneto and Professor X. I think they are a great duo as well. And like I said, I'm really excited to see what they can do in this movie. But then the next shot we see is Scott Lang aka Ant-Man comforting his daughter, Cassie, probably after something traumatic happened, and it really kind of gets me scared because maybe this teases a character death. Maybe the Wasp is in this movie and she dies. Who knows? You know, like anything could happen, and I'm really excited to get more context with this scene, but this is just a heartwarming scene to see for now, but we don't really know the context of it. So now moving on, the next shot I want to talk about is a shot where it seems to me that Sue Storm and Namor could have a fight scene, which is going to be very interesting to see a fight between the two of them, but that's at least how it looks from the trailer. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but if it does, I'm very intrigued for that fight. There are just many great fights between these heroes that are gonna go down in this movie, and I'm really excited to see them all, including this one. So now we've reached the final scene in this trailer, which is definitely one of the best scenes of this trailer. We get to see Thor's old hammer, Mjolnir, return to its rightful owner. Steve Rogers, Captain America. We get to see him interact with Thor, and this is just really exciting. I'm really excited to see Chris Evans back in the role of Captain America, but there's only one question. I want to know if he will take the shield back from Sam Wilson, and if so, what will Sam Wilson become? Because he already passed down the torch of Falcon to his friend, so if Captain America takes back the shield, the real Captain America takes back the shield, what will Sam be? That is a very interesting question to me, and I hope it gets answered, but I honestly do hope that Captain America, the real Captain America, Steve Rogers, takes back his shield, because honestly, I thought Sam Wilson was a decent Captain America. Not a great Captain America. You know, he wasn't John Walker Captain America level bad, but he also wasn't great. You know, he was amazing as Falcon, I could give you that, but he just wasn't the greatest Captain America. Steve Rogers was. So I really hope that we get him back as Captain America. We saw it in like one of the early teasers for this movie. We saw Captain America still had his suit, so hopefully we get to see him become Captain America again and have this little Sam Wilson as Captain America phase end. It was pretty cool in the Winter Soldier and Falcon TV show, and it was decent in the solo Captain America movie. But now, with our GOAT Steve Rogers back, it needs to stop. Give the man back his shield and call it. But yeah, this scene with Steve Rogers and Thor, it was awesome to see, and I cannot wait to see this scene, the rest of it, and what happens in it during the film. But with that, the trailer ends. This was a great trailer. I'm truly excited for this movie and all the crazy scenes that it holds, all the interactions between these heroes and these villains. I'm truly excited for this movie. But that will do it for this trailer breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.